Edgar here, back with another gear talk. Today we're going to dive into my everyday carry setup. It kind of changes off the fly based on whatever the weather is, based on the activities for the day, but there are a few consistent things and I'm just going to dive into those. Oh,
yeah,
son of a bitch.
Shot 5 rounds.
5 again? Why did I do that? 5 again.
You with 6 shots.
That was perfect.
I did that right this time.
Fix the skin.
Spectacular reload.
So here I have my Glock 19 and I have a spare mag. My Glock 19 is a Gen 4, so OG one. It's covered in lint and all sorts of dust. Pretty simple setup. I have a TLR7A on here from Streamlight. I had my Glock slide cut by Parker Mount Machine. I put a RMR in here and I have their little backup iron sights that go and hold the emitter in through here too. Really simple, not a lot to it. I actually have a Gen 5 Glock barrel in here, which I'll dive into in a moment, but the Gen 5 barrels are some of the most accurate Glock barrels on the market. So I had shot a lot of rounds to my old barrel and I figured I'd get a little bit more accuracy, so I put that in there. I have a prototype magwell on here. Eventually it'll become the main magwell. One thing I have done with other companies' magwells that I've put on here is I've actually shaved off parts of the outside, so maybe eventually we'll release a concealed carry version, but it doesn't print too much for whenever I wear size large shirts or anything like that. It's a little bit baggier on my waist, so it doesn't do too bad. I can't fit into smaller shirts and wear like carry really right now at all. So for concealment sake, having a magwell doesn't really help you that much. But most people don't understand what printing is, aren't really looking at your hips, especially if you're appendix carrying. It's an area that it's kind of awkward if you're just walking around staring at someone's crotch, guy or girl. It's just not something that people do socially. And so if someone does glance there, they quickly look away. If you're a gun guy, you probably are more aware of people's hip lines. But most people who are looking around aren't paying attention to that. They're not looking at that. And so I care a little bit less about the printing through there, especially because I can kind of just shift my adjustment. I can pull my abs in a little bit more. I can kind of create a way to go and hide that sometimes. But the main reason that I carry this is because as I go and I grab that gun to carry, having the magwell helps drive my hand high up into the gun and give me a really reliable grip. For me, if I'm ever in a situation where I have to draw a gun, it's either going to be up close retention or it's going to be me having to take a precise shot to some degree, and I want to make sure that my hands aren't slipping at all and that I'm getting good recoil control. Fundamentals are obviously important. I train a lot on the range. That helps give me that good grip, give good reliable setup, so that way should something happen, I'm in a good place for that. But this just helps guarantee that, and I'd rather not take the risk if I am stressed, if there's a lot of anxiety going through, if there's a lot of adrenaline dumping or anything like that. I want to know that I'm going to get a good grip through here, and even when I get a bad grip, this helps drive my hand up higher into the gun, and I get really good control. Also with my support hand, because of our magwells, you get good pinky control and leverage on here. So now I can really grip that gun and control that recoil. So that's the other fun little fact about why I carry a magwell on here. Even if it's not our magwell, because you can't get this yet, I still recommend carrying a magwell on your gun. Even if it's not a Glock, I recommend carrying a magwell on the gun. Just modify it if you're worried about printing. Just shave off the outside edge that'll be flared out. Only other detail on that note is that if I carry, and I'm carrying with a spare mag through here, the gun prints a lot less. There's a little bit here, like if I push out, you can see the printing through here, but naturally, like this area is a little bit baggier on me, and so you don't see any printing. If I am not carrying with a spare mag, it allows the gun to flare out a little bit further, and it actually prints more. So even if I shift my belt over a little bit, it's more likely to print through here, and that's one of the other reasons that I always carry a spare mag. I think one of the other cool things people are doing is carrying a spare tourniquet, a snake staff systems. They make a really cool tourniquet. I want to start carrying those because most of the time I just carry tourniquets inside of my bag. I don't necessarily have them on my person. And I'd almost prefer a tourniquet over a spare mag on my person and then have a spare mag in a bag with me, because I normally have a bag wherever I go, or my vehicle. So that's the other fun little fact. Also, when you draw your gun, always try to put your thumb over on the top through here. You can clear out like that. Scott Jadlinski taught me a really cool method too, where if you just kind of grab your stomach and pinch, you can go pull that garment out of your way a little bit easier. So you go take some training courses, play around with it, get on the range if you can, and start with a clear gun and practice dry fire. Yeah, that's the main setup there. I carry out of a Tenacor holster. I bought this holster maybe 3 years ago now, at least 2 years ago. I heard a lot of good things about them. I was in the look for a good holster because the last company I had, parts just kept cracking on it or breaking, and I wasn't a big fan of it. And I think that this does a really good job of reducing signature, but one of my standards that I have whenever I test a holster is I want to see if I can do like a burpee or some sort of physical activity while wearing the gun. I had one holster where I had tightened it down pretty heavily, but apparently it wasn't tight enough because I had jumped into the bed of my truck and my handgun came up with me and it left my body, and that was not cool. Fortunately, it was a Glock, not a SIG, so it didn't shoot. Either way, I don't really like the idea of the gun coming out of my person without me deliberately doing so. So Tenacor's been great. Once I set this, I have been able to kind of forget about it. I haven't had to check on it too often. In the years of using this, I've never had to retighten it. It hasn't come loose. I've always carried a spare mag for the most part. I ran a T-Rex sidecar holster for a while, and I liked that. What I didn't like about it was that it was all attached to each other and I didn't really have flexibility. I know they changed the design recently to give that flex, which is awesome, but I liked the idea of being able to go and stage this mag exactly where I want it and cant it to the level that I want it. Naturally speaking, the way that my body is shaped and the way that my hips work, having this at an angle allows me to move more comfortably. So if I'm sitting in a vehicle for long periods of time, if I'm running around, doing whatever it is that I'm going to be doing, this doesn't impede any of my movement. Whereas any of the mag carriers that are vertical, I found that they kind of drive into you. And if they're not driving into you, they're just very high up, and then you can't really bend over and do a lot of things. I'm a pretty active person. I go and do a lot of things in the woods. I go take my dog out. I do a lot of different activities, off-roading, all sorts of stuff. And so I like to be able to move and not have something impede me. And that's kind of how I've always looked at sports. Playing hockey as a goalie, I wanted my equipment to move with me, not be something that I couldn't move and was cumbersome and didn't allow me to be the athletic little spider monkey that I was as a goalie. So I carry with Glock standard mags. I only use OEM mags. I have tried other magazines that are out there like the Magpul mags, but the Magpul mags don't have any sort of metal internal guide to them, so they'll actually expand. So based on the weather, they'll shift. Based on the amount of ammo that you have in there, they'll shift. It's just a lot of unnecessary variables, especially if you get any sand or anything like that inside of your gun. So I only use the Glock ones. I also love these extended base plates. There's a lot of other companies out there that make great base plates, and I've tried them. They're just not for me. I love the natural angle that this goes and fits and indexes off of. So whenever I go to reload, it's really consistent for getting that placement through there, especially with the canted magazine. For my main carry mag, I'll run just a standard base plate, or I'll run one of the Landers weapon system ones. I just have a few mags that sometimes rotate into my setup, and that's one of the other base plates that I like. That's my main setup there. I've put tens of thousands of rounds to this gun. I've only had to replace a few different springs. I've changed out the trigger a few times and kind of figured out what I like about it, and some pins and various other things, as you can see the barrel. But it's pretty beat to shit, but it's every time I pull the trigger, it goes off, and it doesn't go off unnecessarily. That's the main setup. I use this year round. One thing that I'll do a little bit differently is in the winter, I can go and wear baggier clothes, or I'm wearing jackets, sweatshirts, and just more things that are more concealing. And so when I do that, I will switch to my full-size carry, because heaven forbid I ever get into a gunfight. The odds are pretty minimal, but if I ever had to, I'd much rather have a full-size gun than a compact or subcompact or anything like that. So if I can carry in the winter months where I might be wearing gloves and I can grab a full frame, I'm much more inclined to do so. This is my main range gun, but I can use it for concealed carry too. I've got the closed emitter on here with the Aimpoint P2. I've got the front post sight and rear post sight here mounted in front of the optic, which is better for dealing with debris and buildup from shooting. Parker Mount Machine Comp, and then Surefire X300 Turbo. Our magwell, of course, and then I've got a stock trigger shoe, but with tactical triggers connector in there. I think I might have broken this down at some point, but either way, it's a really reliable gun that shoots really well. And again, if I ever had to take a shot, heaven forbid that I do, I want to know and trust in the gun. This is the gun that I shoot the most now, so it's always nice to have that. I also use a Tenacore holster for this. They did send me this one. We traded some slings and stuff. The guys there are awesome, and after using their main holster that I just bought, without having to do any modifications to it and using it for years, I knew this is where I wanted to go. And so for winter carrying, this is what I run. Only other everyday carry things, I've got some AirPod Pros. These are great for pretty much anyone. If you are a business person or anything like that, you're on the phone all the time. If you're in sales, you're on the phone all the time. So having a good headset that's pretty unintrusive and comfortable is good. I do recommend changing out the ear cups to the ones that are like memory foam on the inside, because these fall out all the time when I'm working out, and that drives me crazy. So the memory foam ones are good. Cheapo sunglasses that make me look cool. I got these from REI, I think. I don't know. I beat up sunglasses, so I don't necessarily invest in really nice pairs unless it's range glasses. I have a Magpul knife in here. My buddy Will sent this to me. I helped them out with a little thing a while ago. I noticed something when they launched a new product, and they were appreciative of it. And so he sent me this really cool knife as a thank you. And it was cool. It was a nice little kind of thing in the community where we were looking out for each other. And it ended up not being a huge deal, but it was a cool little adjustment. And he's like, I'm gonna hook you up with a knife for that. So I really like this knife. It's visually kind of up my alley for design. It's pretty fun. It's clear ano, so there's actually a green side and then more of a gray side. You've got a little lockable function to it. It's just it's a nice knife that has served me well. I carry my phone and my wallet, which I laser cut this a while ago and made this up, and I've kind of been testing it out. Some little design tweaks. When you use something every day for years, you see where things wear out and where they break down. So I keep making little changes to this periodically, so maybe eventually that'll be a new product of ours. My main belt that I actually use all the time is this really cool old Bundeswehr belt. So you can get these from German surplus stores. It's got a cool little mechanism to it. I think this originally was completely green. Yeah, as you can see on the inside face here, it's no longer green on the outside. It's got a cool little hook through here. You can go clip that in and lock that through. And if you want to change the length of this, you can just simply break that open. It's got some teeth in here, and you can slide that to the length that you want it to be, and then clasp that up, and you're good to go. Main reason that I use this belt the most, it's pretty stiff. It's definitely not the stiffest battle belt that's out there, but I don't have any issues with these holster clips having movement, especially now that these grab onto some of the clothing. But I wear a lot of short shorts, like chubbies and bare bottoms and other cool shorts that I just like, because I'm not the tallest person at 5'10", and I like shorts that show off my legs because I work out a lot. So having a belt that has tiny little belt loops for this is nice. So this allows me to go and carry in shorts that don't have a 1.5-inch belt loop. So that's pretty much it. I think I covered all those things there. Let me show you one cool thing about the keychain that I do that I think is a nice little unique feature, and then we'll wrap it up from there. Boom. Keys. These just magically appeared in my hands because I didn't go walk off camera and Ben cut it. I have got my office keys. One thing that I do here is I put them on a little shackle. So you can get these over at Home Depot and Lowe's and stuff. I learned about these in sailing. I went to a few sailing camps in Maine and had a lot of fun doing that, but they're just cool looking and they do a really good job. Sometimes you have to drill the hole of the actual key to be a little bit larger, but you can fit 4 keys on there really easily. I use I think this is Black Diamond. Maybe it's Petzl. Nope, a Petzl carabiner through here. I've got one of the first pull tabs that came off of production. I've got like a safe key on there. I've got 2 quarters that I have shot. This one I shot with my best friend at, I want to say it was 150 yards or something. No, it was maybe 200 yards. I don't remember, 137 yards. Whatever the length is at LaBerge's that you can shoot at in Vermont, the tiny little farm for anyone who shoots there. I shot this, I had nicked the edge through there, and I was determined that I would go and hit it dead center, and so that was my Remington 700 through there. And then my uncle and I, he was one of the first people to take me shooting. He and I shot, and he had a little 22 Magnum rifle, and I shot this with iron sights at maybe 25 yards. So 2 little kind of things there that are important to me for the memories of who they were with, but also it's pretty cool to be like, yeah, I shot a coin at some crazy distance with iron sights or even with a scope, but it was past 100 yards. Like, that's pretty cool. Keys with a little gym tag on there, and then more keys for my house and stuff like that. But what's cool on here is one thing that Gerber I think did well was made this little multi-tool. Got a little pry bar through here, there's a bottle opener, and then there's a screwdriver. You can also use the tips of these as screwdrivers too. I've used this more than I ever thought I would. It was a gift from my mom, I think, for Christmas as a little stocking stuffer, and it's actually become more useful than I ever anticipated. Downside to it is that it'll stab you in your pants quite often. It's rather uncomfortable at periods of time, but overall it's actually been a really useful tool, and I like having it because you never know what kind of little thing you might need to pry open or something. You can also cut open boxes with it for the most part. But that's the main everyday carry stuff that I have. One of the main things that I believe in is avoiding confrontation, and I think that that's something that's really important. That while I have these tools, I don't necessarily always have these on me. Driving into different states where you can't necessarily carry without a license, yes, there's certain things you can do to manage that. If you're in certain areas, like you're going out to a big concert and you have to go through metal detectors, that you can carry non-permissive things. There's a lot of stuff that you can do. But the main thing to me is, one, avoid bad areas, avoid bad situations. Don't put yourself in harm's way. These are a fail-safe, similar to seatbelts in a car. I never want to be in a situation where I don't have it, but I also don't want to be putting myself in a situation where I need to use it. So if you drive semi-responsibly, you're not going to be putting yourself in a situation where you need your seatbelt. So similar mentality there. The other thing for me is I train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm sure you guys will see videos about it. Everyone who trains it talks about it. Figured I'd bring it up. But to me, the most important part behind that is that I can handle myself, I can handle other people, and I'm comfortable with all of that. I think it's really important because I've been to bars, I've been to areas where you can't carry, I've been to lots of different situations, and I have managed to avoid conflict most of my life. In high school, when I didn't have any training, I dealt with shit, but nothing severe, I guess. But as an adult, I realized that there's times where I can't go and draw a gun and shoot someone because my life might not be threatened immediately. So being able to create space, get away, detain someone, whatever it is, and just keep yourself safe and keep the people around you safe without escalating is also a really good option. And so I think that's something that's important to me too, where now if I can't have these tools, I don't feel naked and afraid. So I think it's important to be well-rounded as a whole. Physical fitness is really important for that too. So everyday carry is not only just the tools that you have on you, it's also how you hold yourself. It's your posture, it's how you communicate, how you visually are aware, like what clothes you're wearing, what you look like. And then also whether or not you train any form of martial arts that's legitimate. I'm not talking about Jared's karate that he does, but I'm talking more Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Judo, Muay Thai, kickboxing, and boxing, things like that. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this little video and you learned something from it. Again, the gear is all important. We design gear. It's a way to go and help increase your lethality and your survivability. And sometimes it's just cool for everyday carry stuff because you run into little things. If it helps you guys, awesome. I hope it does. And if you learned something from it, go and leave a comment below. Share with us what kind of everyday carry stuff that you guys like. And if there's anything that you think we should be carrying, let us know. We might not listen to you, but we might. And if we do, I'd love to learn something new because I always enjoy doing that. Follow us on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube, like our Facebook. We have a blog that we're putting a lot of new articles on, so you're gonna see a lot more content going there. We went to a sniper competition, I had a jiu-jitsu competition. We're gonna have articles about that, just kind of informing you guys of what we're doing. It's not all about me too. We've got Parker's everyday carry setup that'll be going there. We've got maybe Ben's and Jared's and Eric, who doesn't carry a gun. He just carries a knife and he's really good with nunchucks. So like maybe he'll do that. There's all sorts of cool stuff that's gonna be coming out. And if you guys follow those things, you can subscribe to the newsletter, you get all that cool information. So thanks for tuning in and we hope you enjoyed this video.